Hi everybody, so we're gonna do a little workout today. All you're gonna need is a squishy ball, a small ball. Optional, you totally do not need to use it, but a TheraBand. This is about 5 or 6 feet long, I believe. And those are all you need. I'm on an Allegro 2 reformer. We're gonna do a quick full body flow, starting with a red and a blue spring and grabbing your squishy ball. We're going to come onto our back and do some pelvic tilts with the ball under the pelvis to begin. So taking your hips up in a bridge, making sure that ball is right underneath the sacrum, that is the back of your pelvis. I have to make a few little micro adjustments to feel good. Feet are on the foot platform, arms are just relaxed on the carriage beside you. So from here, we're just gonna let our pelvis tip forward over that ball and hip back, deepening our abdominals to do so, not so much the glutes. Inhale forward, arching the back gently. Exhale, deepening the abdominal scoop, imprinting that lower back. So we're elevated. If we were on the carriage, we would be pressing that lower back into the mat right here, and then arching it off of the mat. Just rolling that ball under our pelvis. We're going to go into some pelvic circles, so tipping forward to the left, back, right, just kind of circling around the perimeter of that squishy ball. Just feel good movement. It's okay if it doesn't seem easy for you. If this is a new movement, it might feel a little sticky in one part of the circle, not super smooth or symmetrical. We're gonna reverse, and that's okay. So tipping the pelvis forward, pubic bone forward, now tipping over to the right a little bit, tipping back, imprinting to the left and forward. Ooh, feels so good. Just mobilizing that pelvis, lower back, abdominals. All right, back to center. Now we're just gonna find a place in between the anterior tilt, the arch, and the posterior tilt, where you feel pretty level on that sacrum. I have my hands like a little triangle on top of my pelvis, making sure my pubic bone and my hip bones, the ASIS, are on the same plane. I don't have the pubic bone higher or the ASIS higher. Okay, so once you're there, arms beside you, we're going to maintain that position as we put our feet into the straps. And bring my feet up for support on that foot bar, pressing off. Be careful not to lose that position, otherwise it's okay, you can just adjust when you get up here. And then come to a froggy position, Pilates V that is. Knees are not wider than your armpits, they're not like way out here, they're within your armpit frame. Heels stay kissing, don't let your back round. We want to keep that neutral spine, that elevated hip neutral spine. So it can feel really nice and decompressive for the spine to have the hips elevated above the heart here, a little bit less pressure down on the back. So we're gonna go into froggies. Exhale, extend with intention. So we're stepping into those straps evenly with both feet. Inhale to bend. You can totally, most definitely bend the knees in further than 90 degrees of hip flexion if you can do so without the lower back rounding, without moving the bony position of your pelvis and spine. They do not change as your knees come past 90 degrees. Feel how the abdominals help control the legs pressing out. So my upper abdominals are really staying knit down. They're hugging they're helping the lower ribs to hug down before my legs extend, preventing me from splaying my rib cage up towards the ceiling and arching the back. So I'm really trying to keep the rib cage down, not letting it lift. Space between the lowest rib and your hip bones stays the same. That's another thing you can think of. It stays the same length the entire time. It doesn't shorten or lengthen. All right, from here we're gonna do our moving V's with straight legs first. Inhale, open, carriage moves. Exhale, zip the legs shut. Stable pelvis, stable spine. And stay in my external rotation. And even if you have the mobility, the flexibility that is to open the legs really wide, you don't have to go that big of a range of motion. It's gonna be a lot more inner thigh work. So I'm containing mine to just a little bit wider than the width of the frame. Now same thing, but bend those knees a little bit and see how that changes the exercise a bit. It's gonna be a little more focus on inner thighs. Keep a soft bend in both knees, the same amount in both knees. Woo! 2 more. We're gonna go into our diamond leg lowers. So legs up towards the ceiling, external rotation. Then you just bend the knees. And then from here, you keep the toes together and the heels together, or at least with Pilates feet. And then you maintain that diamond as you exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Don't change the shape of the legs. We're just opening up the hips and then flexing at the hips. Silent pelvis, silent spine. A lot of outer thigh, outer lateral hamstring, inner thighs are working as well. Woo. Keep those heels and big toes touching. Woo. We're moving on to coordination. So exhale out, pelvis stays level. We're not going into any lateral movements or rotation on that ball. Our pelvis stays completely still as the legs move within the hip socket. Inhale out, exhale, zip together, step into the straps. Half of a frog, half of a V. That's what you're telling yourself. Trying your best to keep the legs at the same horizon or plane on the horizon. So here they are. So as this leg opens to a V and this one is in a frog, they're on the same level from side to side. This one's not up here, that is, and this one's here. They zip together, exhale, and then same level. One more to each side. Ooh, lots of inner thighs. Ooh, beautiful. Leg circles. Let's go out to the side and external rotation, up the midline in internal rotation. Getting that hip articulation. And reverse, going down in internal rotation. External to open up. I'm excited for what we're doing next. We are going to do a little short spine massage prep and then the full short spine, and it's gonna feel so, so lovely. One more circle here. We might have done an extra, but it's not gonna hurt us. All right, so for our prep, we're just going to lower the legs, keeping the ball here actually. Actually, I jumped ahead of myself. Bring your hands around to cradle that ball so it doesn't roll away. So from here, you're going to exhale, lower the legs to a 45-degree angle, right about there. Now inhale, like you're going into short spine, feel that hamstring stretch. Just gonna curl up so that your pelvis just leaves the ball. And then from there, bend the knees, and then cannonball roll down. Pelvis back to that ball. So we're just gonna repeat that a few times, a gentle mobilization of the spine. Headrests have to be down. So if it's not down already, bring it down. Finding that ball. Pelvis lifts, bend the knees, cannonball down twice more. Yummy stretch here, peel the hips off, knees towards the chest, roll down. I'm gonna show that one more time and turn out. So I was parallel. You could also do this in a frog. So I'm going back, inhaling, lifting up, and then I can go like I'm doing short spine into that frog and cannonball down. So now I'm going to lift the hips up, take the ball out, and then same thing, bend the knees, roll down. This feels so marvelous. Look at all that space you created in your lower back. So if you ever had tightness there before, put your ball to the side. It should be a lot more decompressed through that spine. So now we're gonna do the same thing, just twice without the ball, so you can feel the difference. Inhale down to 45. Exhale, start to lift. Or reverse, inhale here. Bend those knees, I'm just gonna stay parallel and roll down. So it's pretty gentle, you do not have to lift high. You can just lift the pelvis and the low back a bit. So that's a gentle prep if you don't want to go into the full short spine. Now I'm going to just do 3. I'll try to do very different ways, 3 different variations of short spine. So here, we're going all the way into our inversion. Inhale, exhale, start to peel up, close the carriage. Boop. No higher than the shoulder blades. I'm going to do a frog, and I'm going to keep my heels up and roll my hips away from the heels for this disconnected short spine. Pressing down into the arms, getting that nice proximal hamstring stretch, and then trying to zip the heels towards the hips, continue to roll down, extend the legs. New variation, we're going to do parallel cannonball. Close that carriage, parallel cannonball. So I'm going to roll down, hips and heels stay close together as I articulate down one vertebra at a time. Feels lovely. Last one is cannonball in a frog. Froggy, shoulders towards, shoulder blocks and knees are close together, and then I roll down hips towards the heels. All right, from here, take a few stretches, then we're gonna come out. So you can do a brief little hamstring stretch, holding onto those ropes. Bending and straightening one knee and the other to deepen that stretch if you care to do so. Woo. Heavy through the pelvis, feel that neutral spine, tailbone is heavy. Open the legs out to a V, your inner thigh stretch. Optional gentle rock from left to right, massaging through the glutes. You can do these for longer at home. I'm just gonna hold it here for another big breath. Butterfly, soles of the feet are kissing, knees are wide. I'm going to do a little active stretching here, so contract release by bringing the forearms to the inside of my inner thighs and pressing into my forearms. Like I'm trying to close my legs, like I'm trying to go into hip internal rotation and adduction. 6 seconds, and then release deeper into that stretch. So trying to press the knees out with my arms, and then contract for 6. And relax for 6 seconds. So you do 3 cycles. Contract. Relax. And from here, I'm just going to rest my hands on my belly, holding the stretch. You can also go down, opening into the well with your feet, like you've got suspenders here. Taking a few belly breaths. One more big inhale. Exhale. Taking feet out of the straps, find that foot bar. And then take your time transitioning. Let your blood pressure settle. We've been on our back for a little while. Just sit up. Take a big breath. Staying on our red and blue, we're going to move on. So we are kneeling. We're going into our double knee stretch here. Flat back first. Hands are shoulder width apart. Try to minimize the amount of wrinkles at the top of the wrist. So I'm in a pretty open position, not too much extension. Setting those shoulders down, not letting them shrug north towards the ears. Keeping them wide and low. Wide so they're protracted a bit, not retracted back. Hips are hovered above the heels, and my heels are reaching back in towards my blocks. From this neutral spine flat back, I'm going to exhale, press back. Inhale, carriage comes in. I'm using my lower body, keeping stability in the upper body. Flexing the hips, extending the hips. Not to be confused with a kneeling version of long stretch, which is also a completely wonderful exercise. But this, I'm changing the angle at the shoulders. Here, I'm keeping the shoulders stable and moving at the hips. So understand the difference of the two. They are different exercises. I often see people get this confused. You can go a little bit faster. I don't like to go too fast with these flat back knee stretches because it's easy to lose good form if you go too fast. One more. Coming in. Now let's take a little pelvic movement for that back. So like those tilts we did earlier, you're going to do a anterior tilt and an arch like a cow, and then cat stretch. Tuck the tailbone and round your back. Carriage stays at bumper. Whew. Mobilizing through the pelvis and spine, tucking the tailbone, rounding the back, releasing the tailbone, arching the back. One more of each. And arch. Now, keep the hips hovered over the heels, round the back. We're doing round back knee stretch. So it's a smaller range of motion because we want to keep reaching our tailbone and our sits bones down, not away from us. We want to keep rounded back. Exhale, press. Inhale in. Looking towards the thighs. You can go faster with this one. It's safer to go faster with round back. There's not as much of a risk of arching that lower back. A lot of thigh work, a lot of quads. But notice I'm not losing my rounded back. 3 more. Coming all the way in. Shaking those wrists out. I'm going to just do a little shoulder stretch, a little side bend, and a little rotation. Just feels necessary right now. All right. So we're going to do a 3-part elephant. So the first one is going to be your traditional flat back elephant. So no, we're going to do 4. We're going to start with round back. Sorry, traditional round back. Your heels are down, they're back by the shoulder blocks, and you're not pitched back so far. Your weight's more evenly 50-50 between your arms and your feet. I'm rounding my back so that my waistline, the 12th rib, the back of the 12th rib, is shining up, reaching and rounding up towards the ceiling. Okay? So you're trying to really draw those abdominals in. Inhale, press the carriage back. Exhale, draw it in. Maintaining that scooped abdominals. Calf stretch as you go back. Keep those heels heavy. Shoulders are not moving, it's just the lower body. Reaching and doming the waistline up towards the ceiling. 2 more. All right, now inch your feet forward or keep them back there if you've got tighter hamstrings. Otherwise, shorter legs or looser hamstrings, walk your feet forward a little bit. We're still parallel. Now we're in a flat back with about 60% of the weight distributed over the legs, hips towards the knees and heels, 40% approximately in the upper body. Relax those shoulders and inhale back, exhale in. Flat back, parallel. 2, 3, we're gonna do 5 of each variation. Inhale back, exhale in. Whew, calf stretch here, hamstring stretch here, so lovely. Now, we have 3 hamstrings. We're gonna do different angles of our legs and hips to get different parts of the hamstring stretched. So internally rotating the hips, it's gonna feel a little awkward if you've never done this, is gonna help stretch the lateral, the outside hamstrings, which we have an outer hamstring and 2 inner ones. So inhale back, exhale in. It's also gonna stretch through the calf muscles differently. Still keep those heels heavy. Nice flat back. I was dropping my head too much. 1 more. Now, you can probably guess, external rotation, Pilates V. Inhale back, exhale in. Heels are still down. Whew, all right. Carriage comes in. I'm just gonna sit down for a moment and take a little stretch forward with a flat back, rounding over my legs, then rounding up. Twice more. Leaning forward with a flat back. Undulating that wave of flexion to sit back up. 1 more inhale, hinge. And exhale, round up, perching up on those sits bones. All right, so we're gonna move on. The foot bar is coming down for the last bit of this class, and I'm gonna be on a blue spring and retrieve my TheraBand. So we're gonna do some standing split work. TheraBand, completely optional. Make sure you've got grippy socks here for safety. I've got a blue spring, so it's kind of moderate, not too heavy. I would go up all the way to a red on high for this if I wanted more outer hip. This one I'm focusing a little more on inner thighs. So we're standing parallel. Weight is gonna be distributed evenly between both legs. And we're gonna add this TheraBand today. So palms are down, nice position of the wrist, don't extend. Keep the knuckle bones right as an extension of the forearm bones. So you're not kinking at the wrist. So I don't want too much tension on my band right now. I want to refocus on good form. So your tailbone reaching down, not tucking under or arching the back. So neutral spine, ribs are hugging down so we don't splay forward and dome, or what's called flare the ribs forward. We want to avoid that. I'm working on that constantly in my own practice. So inhale, prepare, and exhale, simultaneously push out and pull out on the band. Inhale to come in. We're gonna try two types of breathing here. So we're exhaling out right now. Inhaling in. Think about growing taller as you inhale and draw the carriage in. We're also gonna try the reverse. So inhaling out, with the emphasis on exhaling in, really connecting to pelvic floor and inner thigh muscles. Inhale out, exhale in, draw the pelvic floor up, inner thighs towards each other. One more. So I invite you to play around with the breathing and see what helps you to feel best in the movement and facilitate that inner thigh connection and drawing of the abdominals in and pelvic floor up. So play around with your breathing always. We're gonna change it to skaters and we have a new position. So it's like you've got a tray and the tray is the band and your hands are holding it like this, palms up. We're gonna do an isometric rotator cuff exercise. So elbows are to your side, not squeezing in but not way out. So like a few inches of space between your ribs and the elbows. Standing up tall. I've got my left foot on the edge of the carriage. I'm gonna go into skaters. So it's a single leg loading, like a squat exercise. But while I do that, I'm just gonna maintain a gentle pull out on that band. So I've got some stretch here. I'm working through the rotator cuff, not shrugging the shoulders, staying open through the chest. And then I do a little half or just quarter squat. The lower you go, the harder it's gonna be. More loading of that standing right leg, the platform leg. That knee is gonna stay right over the center of my foot as I do my skaters. I maintain that pressure outward on the band. If you want more work, bring the hands closer together. Nice line from the crown of the head down your tailbone. If you've got a mirror, just glance for a little bit and then bring your gaze forward. So you have that good position of your neck, not looking down or craning. Exhale out, inhale in. You can change levels, going lower to make it more work, or a little higher to make it a little bit less. Coming all the way in, relax. The last thing that you can play around with here is I'm gonna go into a slight external rotation with both legs. And we're gonna do some squats. So once you got that slight, even external rotation, arms out in front of you, palms facing you. I've got a good amount of space between my hands. I'm gonna press out about 6 to 8 inches, so I'm about a little bit over shoulder width apart with my feet. Try to keep the carriage completely still. And you're gonna do some squats here. We're just gonna do 4. Inhale down, knees tracking over the center of your foot. And exhale up, gently press that band back into the thighs. Little tricep work. Inhale down. And exhale up, maintaining neutral pelvis and spine, not tucking under fiercely at the top. Sometimes I see that. Not arching the back as you go down. One more. Inhale, descend. I'm not doing a super good job keeping that carriage still. You can probably do better than me because I'm talking and distracted. Now we're gonna do pulses. So just come down, hold that band out in front of you, relax the shoulders, pulse for 4, 3, 2, 1, stand up tall. We're gonna do that on the other side. Step off of the boat, the moving surface, and then the dog. to stable surface. We go to the other side, we step onto the dock and then the boat, and we start in parallel. So these are all gonna be like approximately the same amount of reps. I'm not gonna be perfect right now. So palms are down, holding that band. We're gonna do our pull aparts to a T. Try to have weight distributed evenly between your legs. Let's exhale out. Inhale, draw everything in, grow tall. Exhale out, maintaining neutral pelvis and spine as best as you can. 2 more like this. Keeping the ribs right over the pelvis. Pulling apart evenly with both arms. Try not to let one lead more than the other. It's easier said than done, I know. Now we're going to inhale out. Exhale as you draw everything in. Think, inhale out. Exhale, pull the pelvic floor up, like you're trying to hold your pee in. One more. Now we're gonna do those skaters with our palms up, holding our tray, which is the band. That isometric external rotation. So that means isometric, you're not changing the position. After you find your position of slightly pulling the band apart, you keep it there. My right foot's on the edge of the carriage. Nice, stable, single leg squat. I'm about, just like a third of the way down into how deep I would go in my squat. I'm gonna hold it there. Elbows stay close to the side. Can also be slightly forward if that feels better for you. Find a place that feels good. I'm gonna be right inside the rib cage and then slightly forward. That left knee shouldn't move. It's staying right over the center of the foot. The gesture leg, the one that's moving, is the right leg, out and in. But most of the work is in that standing, stable leg. You can go a little lower, play around with your angles here, or a little bit higher, see how that feels. 2 more. Coming in. Now we go into our squats, a little bit of external rotation. Legs are straight to begin. Band is ample space between the hands. Palms facing you, press out to about shoulder width apart, ready for your squat. Carriage stays stable. We do 4 squats. Inhale down, hips back, torso hinges forward a bit. Exhale up, gentle pressure of the band back into the thighs, pressing back with straight arms and stable wrists. Knuckles in line with the forearms. 2 more. Try not to let that carriage dance around and waver too much. It's gonna move a bit. 1 more. Whew, this is hard. Now 4 little squats, going down. 1, 2, band is out in front of your shoulders. 3, relax those shoulders. 4, come all the way up. Step off with the right foot off of the boat and off of the dock. We're done with that series. You put your band down. We're gonna stick onto that blue, we're gonna stick to that blue and do a little sequence here. So this is gonna be a lot of core work and arm work kind of coupled together. We're gonna start with our kneeling abdominals. So your hands are on the frame. I'm bringing mine slightly forward of my shoulders to gain a little more tension and work for the lats. My legs, my thighs are up against the blocks, so my hips are slightly forward of the knees to begin. Flat back, don't arch the back or tuck under. So you can do a few of those pelvic tilts to find those 2 extremes in which you will settle in between, reaching your tailbone and sits bones towards the wall away from you. Exhale, draw the shoulders over the wrist. Hold that, take an inhale. Exhale, deepen the abdominal work without changing the bony structures, and then draw the knees under you, inhale back. Flat back, knee stretch. Weight is even between both hands. Shoulder blades are wide and low. Head is an extension of the spine. 2 more. Now, flat back. I'm gonna keep my hand position. Shoulders are right over those hands. Flat back to round back. So I always want you to come back to flat and then exhale. Draw the abdominals in, tuck the tailbone, tuck the knees under. Inhale back to flat. Feel that difference in the pelvic position. Exhale, tuck under, scoop in. Looking down, and then rounding the back. Try and bring the crown of the head closer towards your tailbone. 2 more. Feeling that back round, especially in the lumbar, the lower back. That's where we want the emphasis. And take a quick little child's pose stretch for those lats, reaching the arms forward and hips back. We're going to do some obliques, starting with the easier one and then going into a harder one where we extend one leg back. So we're going to do everything on the right and everything on the left. I'm just going to do 4 of each. So hands are here, not too close together, about shoulder width apart. Watch out for your hands as you tuck the carriage in. I'm shortening the right side of my body using those obliques, maintaining a relatively neutral spine with a little side flexion. All right, now, before we go to the other side, I'm not gonna make this too hard on myself. I'm gonna keep my wrists right away under my shoulders. Carriage is at the bumper. Now, I'm going to keep weight even between both hands and bring the right leg back. So I don't want you to shift. That's what I always see, shifting into the weight-bearing hip. But keep your weight. You're probably gonna need to shift a little back towards the leg that you just brought up. So you have a little more weight in that right hand and not transferring too much to the left. Now keep that leg up, not rotating the pelvis. And exhale, draw in with the left. Inhale back. 2. Arms stay straight. 3. And 4. We're working obliques on both sides really with this. Now other side, first version, hands are on the rail. 4 tuck-ins, knee stretch, or kneeling abdominal, sorry. 2. 3, stable shoulders. Relax the neck. You can wiggle it around. 4. Now we lift that left leg. Wrists and elbows and shoulders are aligned. I feel very stable and I reach that leg back. Don't shift to the right. All right, take an inhale, exhale, tuck in. 3 more. 2, flat back. 3, 4. Woo! Sit back for a second, shake everything out. Shake those wrists out a little bit. All right, so we're gonna move on. Staying on a blue, you can also do this. You can experiment on a lower spring. The lighter you go, like if you did all of this sequence on a yellow or a yellow on high, it's gonna be a lot more of a core challenge, a little bit less arm work, but a ton more obliques. You choose, pick your poison. I'm gonna demonstrate on a blue for the rest of the sequence, but a yellow would make it a ton more stability work. So choose wisely. What am I saying? Choose wisely. So we're gonna start in our quadruped again, like we just did, all 4s. But I have my left arm. See how my left arm is like, my forearm is up against the left shoulder block? I'm on my palm. That's gonna help me stabilize, having that to press into. I'm not right in the middle of the carriage in my quadruped. I'm a little off to the right so that I can like be in a normal kind of quadruped here, a little more to the right, since where my left hand is. I have to do that. Knees under hips. Now, I'm gonna take the small strap in the right hand. Again, I'm on that blue spring. And we're gonna do a little bit of arm work here. So again, don't shift your weight too much to the left. Keep it centered between your left hand and right knee. And I'm gonna just do a straight arm pull back on an exhale. Palm up towards the ceiling. Head in line with the spine. That was 3. I'm gonna change it up, palm facing in. We're gonna do tricep kickbacks. If it's too heavy, go for the long loop. That was 3. I'm actually gonna demonstrate in the long loop now. So now we're gonna add a challenge. You're gonna go back, hold your bent elbow tricep kickback. If you are an advanced Pilates student, you're welcome to challenge your balance by reaching that left leg back. Again, don't shift into the weight-bearing hip. Stay lifted, pelvis is level from side to side, and tricep kickback for 3. And 2. Keep the elbow high. And 1, we're gonna add on elbow and knee bend and straighten, a little bit of coordination. 2, keep that knee high, elbow high. 1. Coming in. Before we switch sides, you're gonna stay on that one spring, come up. I'm hooking my toes at the back here to make it a little easier. You can always come forward, but I want to be back here to work on my stability more. So we're gonna do some arm sweeps. Nice and tall, shoulders are level if you can look in a mirror. Relax the neck. Whew. Okay, Right arm pulls back, and I'm gonna have my palms face each other. You could change your grip though, and we do a sweep. I actually really like this when it's on a yellow spring. It feels nice getting that full range of motion when it's light, focusing on more shoulder mobility and a ton of ab strength. So I'm tucking my tailbone under slightly just to maintain that neutral spine. Glutes and abs are really working. It's a scissor. Exhale, one arm back, one arm forward. Right arm goes into extension, left into flexion. You can also do palm facing back, changing the position of the hands. 2 more, strong position at that wrist. Now, before we go to the other side, a few more things here. I'm gonna go into the canvas, changing my tension essentially. Left hand is behind the head, elbow slightly forward, pressing the head back into the hand. I'm gonna do a little thigh stretch, so I'm tucking my tailbone under, stretching the front of the thighs, leaning back for a counter stretch. We're gonna do the archer row, single arm version. Exhale, twist and row, inhale, forward. Keep that shoulder under your ear, so when I'm here, I'm not letting it be pulled forward by the springs trying to close. Just squaring forward, and then twisting. 2 more, pressing the head back into the hands. Maintaining that stability. All right, to transition to the other side, we are going to hold on to the small loops and palms are facing inward, do a little combo. So, you're gonna do 3 straight arm pullbacks. I'm nice and tall here. 1, shoulders stay under ears again. 2, moving the arms back and forward with control. 3, I hold it back. So I'm like I'm holding it like I'm doing chest expansion. You pitch the hips back, torso forward, you're in your kneeling squat for 3 tricep kickbacks. 1, elbows stay high. 2, the carriage moves how you do, so be slow and controlled. 3, hold the arms back, and then keep them there as you bring the hips forward. We're gonna do that twice more, our combo. 3, pullbacks. 2, 1, hold it there. That's your smooth transition to a little squat. And then 3 here. 1, 2, ooh, it's hard. 3, hold it back as you bring the hips forward. 1 more round. Working our postural muscles, the backs of our arms, the triceps. And then hold it here. 3 kickbacks. 1, you could totally do this in the long loops, by the way. 2, 3, hold it. Come all the way up. Chest expansion, just 1 to each side to get that neck a little mobilized. So inhale, pull back. Exhale, look over your left shoulder. Check your blind spot. Inhale, look over the right. Exhale, forward and release. 1 more time, looking to the right first. Inhale, back. Exhale, right. Inhale, left. Exhale, forward and release. All right, we're going to the other side. We're gonna start with our arm sweeps. So I'm going to be in the small loop. No, I'm gonna do the long loop this time, so I have a little more range of motion. Palm facing you to begin with both palms. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, back. So I'm choosing to start here and then go to quadruped as I go to the other side. Scissor arms. Now I'm going to change. Palms are facing towards me to begin. This one goes forward, this one is back away from me. Shoulder extension on the left, flexion on the right. Keeping the shoulders level. Always 1 more, drawing the abdominals in before the arms move. Archer row, holding onto the canvas, palm facing down, right hand behind the head, little thigh stretch. So I'm not right up. I'm gonna lean back a bit as a counter stretch, press the head gently into the hand and the hand into the head, and archer row. Square forward, inhale. Exhale, row and twist. Inhale, forward. Feel the left shoulder blade drawing back, kissing at the spine. And then slightly drawing forward, but not too far. Pelvis stays forward, rotating through the upper body for 2 more. Single arm row with the rotation. Last one. Whew. All right, so now hold on to that strap again. I'm gonna stick to the long loop on this side. and we go to quadruped. This time my right hand is down, the right lateral side of the forearm is pressed up against the right shoulder block, and I bring my quadruped over to the left a bit. Knees under hips. Yes, you might hit that foot plate, that's okay, just you'll be fine, just watch out for it. So from here, straight arm pullbacks for 3, but first make sure you're nice and stable, you're pressing away from the ground, you're in your neutral spine, so a little tiny bit of like flexion in the upper body, tiny arch through the low back, reaching the tailbone away from you. So from here, maintain that stability, 3 pullbacks, 1, my rope was caught, and 2, last one, I'm gonna actually adjust my left knee in a bit, and 3. Now triceps, I'm gonna bring my palm to face me, more of a neutral position, 3 kickbacks, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you feel ready, you're going to extend that right leg, find your balance, don't open up the hip, don't shift too much into the weight-bearing left side. Keep a little more weight over that right side. And this is tough on this side, it's a lot harder for me. 3, 2, and 1. Now the coordination, bending the leg. This is hard on this side, wow. Huge difference through the oblique sling. Keep that knee lifted. Ooh, a lot more wobbly on that side. 1 more for good measure. I know we did 3 on the other side. So yeah, if that knee is hitting, just like lift the foot a bit, by the way. That is very wobbly. Goodness. Okay. All right, so from there, we're nearly done. We're gonna grab our box, put it over the blocks, go into a little bit of ab work and then some prone work. We're gonna start with the ab work. So sitting, we're still gonna be on that blue. Do some rollbacks to begin, holding onto the knots. No, let's hold on to the small straps. I don't want too much support. So we're gonna do some rollbacks. Feet are on the headrest, sitting tall, arms are long. No tension to begin. Inhale, exhale, tuck the tailbone under, deep scoop of the abdomen, rolling back 1 vertebra at a time from the sacrum to the low back. Tapping down to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Inhale here, and exhale to come up. Think about creasing at the lower ribs, pressing your waistline into the box as you come up. Maintaining your C shape, shoulders over hips, and then sit up tall. We'll do 1 more just like that before doing some pulses. Inhale, and exhale up. Now roll 3/4 of the way back, and hold it, and then squeeze my legs together. From here, bicep curls, and then we'll do pulses. We're gonna do 6 of these, elbows stay high, squeeze those inner thighs together, keep the abs engaged, lower back rounded. 1 more. Arms stay straight. Now you're gonna do a little pulse. Inhale up, exhale, deepen the curve. Inhale up, exhale down, moving just like 2 inches. Creasing at the ribs, tucking the tailbone further. 3 more, arms stay straight. Last one, rolling into a little extension. Opening up that spine. And coming up just 3/4 of the way for some arm work. We press down through those feet. Exhale, open the arms. Inhale, close. 3 more. Deepening the abdominals before you bring the arms up. 2 and 1. Woo! Sitting up for a moment. We've got teasers next, okay? So I'm gonna, for a little more support, hold on to the knots, roll back, and adjust. So my shoulder blades are close to the edge of the box. So I have my whole sacrum is supported on the box for teaser. Bring the legs up to tabletop. This is a little easier than facing the other way for teaser on the long box. Inhale, exhale, because the springs are gonna help you roll up. Exhale, slowly roll up to your bent knee teaser. Holding it here, lightly drawing the shoulders back, tucking through the tailbone, so you're maintaining a little bit of lumbar flexion. 3 times, straighten and bend the knees. 2, 1, keep the knees bent, roll back down. We're gonna add some arm work at the top of our last one. Inhale here, exhale, nod the chin toward the chest, let the springs help you up. Find your balance here. Now all we're gonna do is a little pull apart. Keep it small, 4 inches out to the side and back. 1 more. Now just a little pull back. I'm gonna go to the canvas here. Little pull back without arching the back. Keeping that lumbar flexion. And we're just gonna sit all the way up. Find the headrest. Reverse abdominals. Oh my gosh, okay, this is a lot of ab work. But let's go to it. Long loops, just above the knees. Okay, so it's about the same position on both legs. Roll down onto your back. We're gonna do straight up the middle and then obliques to really get our abs working. So I'm gonna scooch back a bit. Hand behind the head, imprint that lower back into the mat so we really can prevent when the hip flexors fire to bring the knees closer to us. We want to prevent our lower back from arching. So really think about countering that by pressing it into the lower back, into the mat, into the box. So we're going to start here, hands behind the head, elbows in your peripheral vision, in an ab curl. Hold it here, legs together. We're just going to do hip flexion, that's it. From 90 degrees right here, exhale, draw in deeper. Exhale. Pull those abs in, pull the legs in. Now you're going to coordinate a pulse of the upper body with that. Pull in with the hip flexion, up and down. Shoulder blades up and down. There's no true relaxing of the upper body because we are on a box. We can't really rest our head anywhere. So just let it rest into your hands. Don't let that lower back arch. Keep it pressed in to the box. 2 more. And just rest for a second. Hug those knees into your chest or arch back if that feels okay in your neck. Obliques, we're going to keep the hands behind the head. Bring the legs slightly over to the right so there's a tiny, tiny bit of air under the left hip. And we're going to come up in an ab curl to the left. So we're in a spiral. And you're just going to do the leg pumps for 4, 3, 2, 1. Coordinate the pulse of the upper body with that. Pulse, pulse, 3, 4, other side right away. Bring the legs a little bit to the left, upper body to the right. Hold the ab curl, just the legs come in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Coordinate a little pulse in the upper body. 4, 3, it's so much work. 2, 1, woo, back to center. Feet come down, big stretch. I'm gonna roll up, use my hands to help me come up because my abs are toast. And bring those straps back down. And then to end, a little bit of back extension work. We're gonna start without any straps, just having your hands on the frame for a slow swimmer. The legs are the width of the box, like a big X. Little back extension, shining your sternum forward. Left arm and right leg lift. Reach long like an airplane taking off down the runway before taking to the sky, not a helicopter going straight up. So inhale to slide, exhale to lift. Gently drawing the abdominals off the box, not craning the back of the neck. 1 more each side. Now let's do the rocket. Let your upper body flex forward over that box and internally rotate the shoulders. The legs are still actively reaching long. I'm in a little bit of external rotation. Now on your inhale, little back extension and spin the palms to face forward, getting external rotation in the shoulders. Internal rotation and flex forward. Inhale and lift and spin forward. Flexing the spine and getting a little extension. Not a big lift, just a little bit. Focusing more on extending the upper mid back than the lower back. So I don't want you to come up like that. So exhale down, 1 more. And inhale, lift. All right, grab those straps, hold on to the ropes. Just a little bit more work here and then we are done. So straight arm, it's pretty light. Fix my ropes here. There we go. Straight arm pullbacks. That one is still twisted. There we go. Pulling back with straight arms. Hang on, I've got to fix my, there we go. I'm good now. So arms are straight, legs are long. Just pulling back to the hips. Very light. Really focusing on form when we have light springs like this. Now, you're going to pull back on an exhale. Lift on an inhale into a little extension. Exhale, everything comes down. One more time like that. Arms, inhale, lift. Exhale, everything down. Now on an inhale, everything's going to come up into your little extension. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, down. One more time. Relax over the box for a second. Whew. We're going to do some really slow and controlled lat T-pulls. And then the small loops, you can do long loops for less tension. Palms are down. So we're in external rotation. Arms out to a side, slightly forward with the arms, then the shoulders, so that's plane of scaption. And I exhale, zip to the hips. Inhale out to the side. Trying to keep the arms at the same height on both sides. So if one shoulder has different mobility, like my right is more limited, I'm going to match it with the left. Pulling that pinky side of the hand towards you to get the lat more engaged and the external rotators. Now back to center, we're going to do arm circles, staying in those straps. Down towards the hips, out to the T, and circle down. 3 each direction. Stay long through your spine. Pause and reverse, out to the side, to the hips, and forward. 2, and 3. Oh my, that is tough. Straps are back. Come up into a child's pose and just like completely relax everything here. Arms are heavy. We do a little shift from my hips from heel to heel. Whatever feels good with those arms, you can reach them on your back. Take a quick thread the needle stretch here. Knees under the hips. Reaching the right elbow up. Big inhale, exhale and twist. Just gonna rest them on my head. And then other side, right hand down, twist. Exhale, thread the needle. Back to center. And then I'm gonna just sit to the side for a moment. Relaxing here, closing my eyes. If you feel safe, you don't have to open your eyes. I mean, you don't have to close your eyes. Take a big inhale. And exhale. One more big breath in, perching on those sits bones, growing nice and tall. And exhale. All right, and you guys are all done. That was a not full hour, but 53 minutes and 32-second class. I hope that you enjoyed and have some ideas of your own that you can add on to the variations we did today. I definitely had more, but I didn't want it to be like a 90-minute class, so I'm sparing you of that. So let me know what you thought of the workout, and yeah, hope that you feel your triceps and obliques as much as I do.